Hey guys, it's Skulk3 and welcome to part 10 of Let's Play The Longest Journey. Now, in the last part, we stepped through a portal in an alleyway, and we made it to Arcadia, a bizarre, mystical place parallel to Earth, and we met up with, I know his name is Tobias, but I can't remember what his title is, in any case, and he said, go explore Arcadia and then come talk to me whenever you're ready to learn more stuff. But in the interests of keeping this sort of as going on as we can, we're just going to go straight ahead and talk to Tobias. Vestrum, that's the one. So yes, Vestrum Tobias, and we were also told by Cortez to go and find Brian Westhouse, so we could get back out. But first, we have to do a bit of learning about
Tobias,
how Arcadia's happened.
Just call me Tobias, please. I require no ceremony from a distinguished guest such as yourself. Did you enjoy the sights?
Well,
I don't know. I'm overwhelmed. Walking around out there, seeing with my own two eyes things
you
that
kind
can't
of only saw a
possibly
marketplace,
exist.
April.
I kept thinking, it's all a dream. I'll wake up at any moment now and everything will return to normal. But then I realized, I'm still here. It's real.
It's actually a bit weird if you
touch
don't
it.
go
I
and
can
explore
smell
beforehand.
it.
Oh well.
You know what? It doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense here. Magic, alien creatures, parallel worlds. I don't believe in those things. I don't believe in fairy tales.
In your world, in Stark, there is no room for magic. That is, and always has been, the curse of science, the fallibility of logic and
By the
order.
way, I'm sorry this episode is primarily just backstory, but it's good to know.
If it does not fit into the narrow perception of the laws of nature that your world adheres to, it's a fairy tale.
It's so narrow-minded of you,
But then,
Starkians.
magic has its downsides too. It's unpredictable. It invites chaos. It puts the balance in peril in a way that science alone never could.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
I keep hearing about the balance and about Stark and Arcadia.
From whom? You
and
haven't talked to anyone.
This is probably going to sound strange to you, but I'm clueless. I have no idea what this place is, or what I'm doing here, or... All I know is that something strange is happening in my world, I guess. I had dreams, and the dreams felt so real, and then things started happening in real life too. Things that couldn't happen, and
I think there isn't really any couldn't when magic happens.
At the very beginning. I believe that is why you were sent here. To learn, to understand, to see for yourself. Like you said, you cannot believe in this place. Well, you will. After you have learned the truth, you will. Come with me, and I will tell you the story of Earth as your books never have. And when your eyes and ears are open to the truth, perhaps your mind will follow. We can only hope. Come. This is the true story of the balance, as observed by the Sentinel, the Order of the Balance, the Fathers. The Sentinel Minstrom committed this story to the pages of the scriptures, and to these temple walls thousands of years ago, so that coming generations could learn and understand their past and their
The
future.
only problem with paintings being that unless you have someone to
wallpapers
explain them,
you're
they're
looking
kind of
at became
vague.
known as the murals of the balance. And it is through these images that I will recount our common history to you, April Ryan. The story begins and ends here, with this mural. Ages ago, and in ages to come, the
So
Earth
we're not
was
only
one,
working with history here, we're
and
also working
magic and
with
science existed side
whatever
by
the heck
side in
history
nature
in the
and
future
in
is
all
called.
people. There was balance, and there was harmony.
But that all
You're
changed
saying
when the
there
Fire
was just
Nation attacked.
One world, then?
One world, one Earth. Magic and science in balance with each other, within each and every living creature.
We had magician robots, it
Power
was
to make the
amazing.
stars dance and to create life itself was within our grasp. But then, humankind began to exploit this divine power of two, and they saw fit to use it for their own selfish purposes.
It is the human way.
The balance of the cosmos was in peril.
Cool, aren't we a bunch of rotters?
Unless something was done, unless man was humbled and learned to fear the power he wrought over cosmos, the twilight of chaos would fall upon Earth.
They're so scared he's breaking the fourth wall.
It had happened before, in distant times and on distant worlds, and it would happen again. And every man, woman, and child of every people and every race would be devoured by the coming apocalypse.
It looks a bit like the thing we saw in our dream, actually.
We were given a visitation then. The Drag Kin, having lived among us for untold generations, rose to offer their guidance and assistance in preserving the balance on our world.
April, you could go at the same time, you know.
The Drag? I think I've heard that name before.
Drag Kin, Draken, Dragons, whichever name they go by, they remain the eternal servants and custodians of the balance. There were 4 of them here on Earth, and of the 4, one who would found the order of the balance, the Sentinel. The first Minstrum were instructed that magic and science would have to be separated before the balance collapsed and brought untold disaster. Earth would have to be split in 2 equal parts. Arcadia and Stark, magic and science, chaos and order. The first Sentinel were counted 13, 6 scientists, 6 magicians, and one who was between.
One of those magician
Drag
robots
King,
I told you about
our
before.
mentor, our custodian, our learned guide. Both magic and science were needed to perform this most difficult of tasks. To split a world in 2, to create 2 worlds from 1.
Wasn't the use of that kind of power dangerous to the balance?
Yes, and so for this purpose, they built a tower to channel their powers and focus them on the divide that they would create. The Kin had brought a disc with them, a disc forged in the fire of their world. Placed at the base of the tower and the epicenter of the divide, the disc and the tower would become one, a conduit for the flow of magic and science. At the appointed hour, the 13 came to the tower, and with them a woman whose destiny was decided by the purpose to which she had been born.
What?
She would be the first guardian, the human protector of the balance, who would stay in the tower for 1,000 years to watch over the 2 worlds and to ensure that the flows of magic and science were always equal.
In case you're not aware, 1,000
so
years
the
is a
ritual
long
began.
time to do that shit. It's a lot of games of solitaire.
One world was to become 2, separated by the balance, and each world visible to the other only by way of dreams.
Does that mean people in Arcadia
Who
sort
was
of dream
ushered
of,
into
like,
which world
computers
was not an arbitrary
and,
choice,
like, cars
nor
and
one
things?
taken lightly. For the magical creatures, the choice was simple. They had to go to Arcadia. Their kind would not survive in Stark. But for others, families were torn apart, lovers separated, and friends lost for all eternity. Encircled by the 12 and the one who would be guardian, the disc at the base of the tower began to spin faster and faster as more and more power flowed through it, until it was a blur. Darkness enveloped the tower, but the disc glowed brighter and brighter. Reality turned, and in one moment, a new reality had been created and 2 new worlds born. In the tower there was silence. The original disc had disappeared, and in its place was a smaller counterpart, a similar yet different disc. Around and outside the tower the world looked different. They were now between Stark and Arcadia, between reality and dream. This was the realm of the balance and of the guardian, and it would be her home for the next 1,000 years. The one who was kin picked up the disc and said, "This disc is a counterpart to the original disc, which has now become this realm, and the key to which has been split and divided in 4. The key is the disk, and the disk is this realm. This mystified the 12, and the one who was kin continued. Know only this. The Guardian's realm cannot be broken unless the disk is broken.
So don't drop it, okay?
But nor can it be repaired without the disk being repaired. The 4 pieces, that is the key, will be given to the 6 of you who are to be taken to Arcadia for safekeeping. Yet the key will never be complete, he went on, without the precious stones that adorn each piece. I will keep 1, and my fellow kin the 3 others. Should the day come when this realm must be repaired, or the world reunited, and that day will come, you will assemble the disk, and the kin will come together one last time. With that, 6 of the 13 went to Arcadia, and 6 to Stark, and the one who would be Guardian ascended to the throne. Witness the mural, where her dreams and hopes, her very soul, were locked away in the disk. In service of the balance, these traits were nothing but barriers. Through new eyes, the imbalance between the worlds was as clear as the stars themselves to the Guardian, and with one thought, she channeled chaos from Arcadia and logic from Stark into the disk, and redistributed the power wherever it was needed. A new era had begun, the era of the Guardian. After they left the tower, 2 of the Drakkin went to Stark, the other 2 to Arcadia. The 6 who came to each world started what is now known as the Sentinel, the Order of the Balance. But while in Arcadia the Sentinel thrived, in Stark they did not. In Stark, the memories of magic and the balance could not survive in the face of the new reality of natural laws, of logic and of science. And soon, very soon, Arcadia became nothing more than legend, a myth, tales of fairies to recount to impressionable children, and stories to frighten and entertain around a fire.
So does that mean fairies don't even exist in Arcadia?
And while dreams still brought sights and sounds of Arcadia to those asleep in Stark, they were discounted as mere dreams and nothing more.
So that's it? We forgot about our past and about Arcadia? And that's the way things are? Then what's wrong with that? And why does magic from Arcadia seem to have begun leaking through to Stark?
That is another long story. But I can tell that you are tired of stories, and so I shall be brief. As I told you, while in Arcadia, the Sentinel grew in numbers and in strength. In Stark, while flourishing for a brief time, they were soon diminished and powerless. Some of the Stark Sentinel did not take kindly to this, and they berated the Arcadian Sentinel for their politics and teachings. The Stark Sentinel wanted people to work towards reunification, while their brothers did not. So the inevitable soon came to pass, and the Stark Sentinel parted ways with their Arcadian brothers, and named themselves the Vanguard. And while at first their philosophy was not so different from ours, over the years it changed radically. The Vanguard wanted the divide torn down, the worlds reunited, and the return to what they called the Glorious Ages, when humankind could control the forces of cosmos. But first they needed their own servant in charge of the balance, their own guardian. Now, every 1,000 years, a new guardian took the place of the old one, because no one can be separated from their souls for any longer than 1,000 years. Every 1,000 years, a new guardian was born. The balance provided the seed from which a new fruit grew.
Metaphorically speaking.
But now, it has been 200 years since the previous guardian, the 12th guardian, was to be replaced. Every new child born to the balance has been taken away by the Vanguard, to be studied in an attempt to control them. In every instance so far they have failed. But the 12th Guardian could wait no longer. Only a short time ago the disk in the tower shattered, and the Guardian left his throne. The balance is now untended, and we have yet to find a new Guardian. Unless we do so, the Vanguard may get their chance. And they may be able to place their own puppet on the throne, to rule the balance according to their principles. And this we cannot allow. It will mean the end of Stark and Arcadia, and the dawn of an era of chaos. Now do you see?
I understand the history. I can even accept it. But I don't understand why I'm here and what Cortez wants with me.
The balance is in peril, April. The Guardian has abandoned his tower. He has disappeared, and there is no one to take his place. He must be reinstated to protect the balance until a new Guardian may be found.
And what can I do? I'm nobody. I've just been having a lot of bad dreams.
You are a strong shifter. I have not seen your like in my lifetime.
A shifter?
Someone capable of opening doors between worlds. A shift. A portal between the realms of Stark and Arcadia.
Are you kidding? I didn't do anything. Cortez was the one who opened the shift, and he just waved his hands around in the air. I don't think I'd be capable of opening a portal even if I had a magic wand.
Only a shifter's own power can allow her to travel. No one else can do this for her. Cortez only channeled your power to aid you. He would not be able to step through the shift himself.
Even if that's true, I don't have any control over my talent.
Not yet. But in time you will. How else do you intend to travel back to your world?
God, I hadn't even thought about that yet. Can you help me?
I'm afraid not. Even if I could shift, I would not be able to channel through you like Cortez did.
So, I'm on my own?
If you have any questions, I will do my best to answer them. But aside from that, yes. Yes, you are.
That's so not cool.
No, it has been unseasonably warm.
Ba-dum-tsh.
If you don't mind, I will return to my studies now. Thank you for listening to an old man and his long stories.
No, thank you. It's starting to make a little bit of sense now.
That is good news. Come see me again if you have any more questions.
Well, that was enlightening. And yeah, it's now been 18 minutes. So, although I apologize for the lack of any real commentary in this, how come we didn't look at this picture? Oh well. Yeah, I'm sorry for the lack of overall commentary in this, but this was mostly sort of a backstory video. So, in the next part, guys, we're gonna go see what we can do around Arcadia. I'll see you guys then. Goodbye.